Before the mid-15th century, books were rare, hand-copied treasures, crafted by monks in silent monasteries. These quiet halls echoed only with the scratch of quills and the soft turning of vellum pages, as scribes labored for hours each day. Each manuscript took months or even years to complete, making books incredibly expensive and reserved for the elite. The process was painstaking, requiring immense patience and skill, and only a handful of people could afford to commission such works. Vellum, made from animal skins, and hand-mixed inks added to the cost and exclusivity. Every page was a product of both nature and human effort, and the materials themselves were precious commodities. For most people, owning a book was as unlikely as owning a castle. Books were symbols of power and status, displayed with pride by nobles and royalty. Knowledge was passed down by word of mouth or from authority figures. Literacy was a privilege of the clergy and a select few. Most people relied on sermons, public readings, or stories told aloud to learn about the world. The scarcity of books meant ideas and discoveries were locked away from the masses. Libraries were often hidden behind monastery walls, their contents accessible only to a chosen minority. Errors crept in as tired scribes miscopied words, and over generations, these mistakes multiplied. The human hand, no matter how careful, was prone to fatigue and oversight. The result was a world where even scholars worked from flawed texts. Sometimes, entire passages were lost or altered, making the truth elusive and uncertain. Books were luxury items, and information was fragile, slow to spread, and easily lost. A single fire or flood could erase centuries of knowledge in an instant. The world needed a better way to preserve and share knowledge. The hunger for learning and the desire to record new ideas was growing, but the means to do so remained painfully limited. For centuries, the patient, fallible hand of the scribe was the only answer. Their dedication kept the flame of knowledge alive, but the world was on the brink of transformation. But change was on the horizon, promising to reshape the future of books and the spread of ideas forever. Enter Johannes Gutenberg, a goldsmith from Mainz, Germany, who saw the potential to revolutionize bookmaking. His breakthrough was movable type, individual metal letters that could be arranged, reused, and reset for each page. This innovation, combined with a new oil-based ink and a modified screw press, created a system for mass-producing books. Gutenberg borrowed heavily and experimented for years, convinced he was on the verge of something transformative. The press allowed for crisp, uniform pages, printed quickly and efficiently. For the first time, knowledge could be reproduced on a massive scale. Gutenberg's workshop in Mainz was about to change the world. The age of the printed book had begun. Gutenberg's revolutionary process began with the meticulous crafting of metal type. Each individual letter was cast from a precise mold, ensuring perfect uniformity and clarity on the printed page. This innovation allowed for reusable, durable letters, a major leap from hand-carved wooden blocks. Skilled compositors then arranged these tiny metal letters in a composing stick, carefully building lines of text in reverse order, so that the final print would read correctly. This painstaking process required both dexterity and a keen eye for detail. Once the lines were complete, they were locked tightly into a sturdy wooden frame, forming a solid plate known as a formie. This plate held the type securely in place, ready for the inking and printing process. Ink was then carefully dabbed onto the raised surfaces of the type using leather-covered ink balls. The ink had to be spread evenly for a clear impression. Next, a damp sheet of paper was gently laid on top, which helped the ink transfer more effectively. The entire assembly slid under the screw press's heavy platen. With a firm pull of the handle, the platen pressed the paper down onto the inked type, transferring the text in a single powerful motion. This step was both physical and precise. The result was a crisp, identical page, ready to be repeated hundreds or even thousands of times. While one page was being printed, another set of type was being prepared, creating a seamless, continuous workflow that dramatically increased productivity. What once took a scribe an entire day to copy by hand could now be accomplished in mere minutes. The true genius of the press was in its repeatable, mechanical process, which brought consistency and speed never before possible. Printing was no longer an art reserved for the privileged few, it had become a groundbreaking technology for the many. The miracle of mass production had arrived, forever changing how knowledge was shared and spread across the world. Gutenberg's press unleashed a flood of books across Europe, forever changing the way people accessed information and ideas. What began as a trickle of printed pages soon became a torrent, reaching far beyond the walls of monasteries and royal courts. In just 50 years, presses in over 200 cities produced an estimated 20 million books, a staggering number for the time, and a testament to the insatiable hunger for knowledge that swept across the continent. The cost of books plummeted, making them accessible not just to the wealthy elite, but also to merchants, artisans, and even some commoners. Suddenly, books were no longer rare treasures, but objects that could be bought, sold, and shared in bustling marketplaces. For the first time, private book collections became possible outside the church and royalty. Households of all kinds began to build their own libraries, filled with texts on science, philosophy, and literature. The monopoly on information was broken. Knowledge became a mass commodity. People gathered to discuss new ideas, and books became a catalyst for debate and social change. News, ideas, and arguments could now travel across borders in weeks, not years. Printed pamphlets and news sheets spread rapidly, connecting distant communities and fueling a new sense of shared identity. Intellectual life accelerated as thinkers responded to each other's work in near real time. The exchange of ideas became faster and more dynamic, sparking innovation and debate. Printers standardized layouts, added title pages and page numbers, making books easier to use and reference. Readers could now navigate texts with greater ease, and scholars could cite sources with precision. Every copy of a printed edition was identical, eliminating the errors of hand copying. This reliability meant that readers across Europe could trust they were reading the same words. This consistency was vital for scholarship and collaboration, allowing students and teachers to work from the same texts and build shared understanding. Scientists and scholars could now build on each other's work with confidence, knowing that their references and discoveries would be preserved and accessible to others. The printed book became a stable foundation for learning, a tool that empowered generations to explore, question, and understand the world. Europe was transformed by the torrent of texts, as the printed word reshaped society, culture, and the very fabric of knowledge itself. As books became cheaper and more plentiful, literacy spread beyond the elite. Reading became a tool for advancement. Merchants, craftsmen, and navigators all benefited. The cycle of more books and more readers fueled each other. The printing press allowed people to read sacred texts in their own language, challenging the church's monopoly on interpretation. It sparked the Renaissance, reviving classical ideas and promoting humanism. People began to question, learn, and think for themselves. Knowledge was no longer locked away, it was in the hands of the many. The seeds of revolution and reform were sown. The scientific revolution was built on the foundation of print. Discoveries could now be preserved, shared, and tested by others. Copernicus's heliocentric theory and Vesalius's anatomical drawing spread rapidly, reaching scientists across Europe. Standardized illustrations and data allowed for accurate study and replication. The press fostered a culture of evidence, peer review, and debate. Ideas had to withstand scrutiny, not just tradition. Science became a collaborative, cumulative enterprise. The printed page became the engine of discovery. The press became a weapon for reformers like Martin Luther, whose printed theses ignited the Reformation. Pamphlets and sermons in local languages spread ideas quickly, bypassing church hierarchy. The Catholic Church struggled to keep up with the speed of print. Simultaneously, the press revived ancient texts, fueling the Renaissance and humanist thought. Thinkers like Erasmus and More reached wide audiences, sparking debate on society and philosophy. The Republic of Letters connected intellectuals across Europe. Authority was challenged by the power of the printed word. A new era of public discourse had begun. Affordable books revolutionized education. Textbooks could be mass-produced, giving every student access to the same material. Learning shifted from rote memorization to active engagement and independent study. Standardized curricula emerged, uniting schools and universities. The Reformation's emphasis on Bible reading drove mass literacy, especially in Protestant regions. New schools opened their doors to broader segments of society. Education became a civic necessity, not just an elite privilege. The printing press opened the schoolhouse to the world. In our digital age, we owe everything to Gutenberg's revolution. The printing press was the first mass medium, making information accessible and reproducible. Its principles, perfect copies, wide distribution, and open access, are the foundation of the Internet. Today, anyone can publish and share ideas globally in seconds. This democratization of information has brought both progress and new challenges. The legacy of print is the belief that knowledge should be free and empowering. Access to information drives progress and freedom. We still live in the world Gutenberg built, one shaped by the disruptive power of the printed word.